I understand that when you had brought up Karen's Law, that you may be entertaining that again, albeit the judge had determined that this minor would be tried as an adult. So you were victorious on that, but again, there's no guarantee because it will always be into the decision of the judge to make that determination, whereby you had said in a heinous crime of this nature, it should be mandatory, where the judge is given those parameters so that we feel safe and protected. But when you're talking about teenagers, so to speak, about crimes, I know that is very important to you because you're very active in the security watches and the patrols. I mean, from the grassroots on up. I mean, you're out there with the flashlights too. And one of the things as people have shared regarding these efforts of yours is that the Department of Human Services is the one that has the lock and key, so to speak, on the youth corrections facilities. So the Department of Public Safety, or Department of Corrections, so to speak, deals with adults. So when an adult gets out, if they're a sex offender, we have them and we know and track them, what have you. But when someone commits violent crimes as a minor and then is released at 19, the Department of Human Services says, well, you know, that's purged, they have a brand new start in life. But if you were that victim, wouldn't you too like to be notified if little Jane or Johnny, whatever, came out and was living next to you, and you maybe were the one responsible for having them locked up for those years, that, again, that bridge of gap between Director Lillian Kohler with Department of Human Services and then getting back with the Department of Corrections and Public Safety, you know, that's a task because you're trying to bring two different departments to see the same picture. Are you going to be entertaining legislation on this?
Well, that one, of course, is a little more complicated, but I do think a lot of people in our district are very concerned about that. The one thing about Karen's Law is it really educated the people of Ewa Beach about juvenile law.
That's right.
And a lot of the flaws about that. I didn't really know much about juvenile law before this situation happened, and I know the family wants me to continue to pursue changing parts in the juvenile law to provide more justice for the families and more protection for the children that go to school with these violent juveniles.
Okay, Representative, so crime, you've polled your district, they're concerned, they have some other issues. Transportation is always at the top of the list. You know, there's so much going on behind the scenes with you that, you know, we could spend hours in the show talking about it. So we need to kind of continue on. So crime, transportation, what else? What else is some of the hot topics besides energy and being independent and stuff like that? What else are your constituency asking from you?
Well, they want better schools,
okay.
Tom, and you know, it's such a tough thing to talk about because you don't want to say there's bad teachers and bad principals, but I think we can all agree that we have a bad system.
Okay.
And when I have principals saying that they would rather spend more money on other things than what they're told they have to spend money on because they see it would be right for their school, I have a lot of concern that there's a problem within our system that we're not allowing more creativity and better learning and better education. No one knows what a student needs better than the teachers and the principals. And I think we are become a little bit too top heavy. I'm very concerned on a political aspect. I can understand how people are so frustrated within the Department of Education system because we have elected officials that oversee education, and we also have a Board of Education that's also elected that oversees education. And so what I'm finding is there's a lot of people pointing fingers at other people. Okay. There's like no clear accountability. Okay. And so I would really like to personally either get rid of the Board of Education, the elected part of it, make it appointed, or have politicians at the Capitol just get out of education completely because we already have elected officials through the Board of Education overseeing education. And I'll be happy to give that part of my job up just so that the principals and the teachers can have a straighter line to those who are accountable.
Just like they've been doing for UH system.
Yeah.
You give them more and more autonomy.
Yes.
And so you just want to make that applicable. Well, it's working for UH. Why don't we apply it into the public school system?
Yeah.
So that
it's very hard when you have a lot of chiefs. Yeah.
That's a good point. So your magic bullet, will you be formulating legislation on this end?
Well, I was still discussing. I know this idea kind of came up a long time ago, like maybe 15, 20 years ago or so. But I think it's time that we really take it a little bit more seriously. You can't have so many people in charge and so many people saying, well, it's the Board of Education's responsibility, oh, it's the legislator's responsibility. I would rather personally just give a lump sum to the Department of Education and to the Board of Education and let them deal with it with the principals and the teachers and what's best for the schools. I think too many people in the pod making decisions makes for some bad decisions or actually no decisions at all. For example, like not closing schools that should be closed to save us money for bigger schools like Campbell High School and Elima to get a more share of that money because they have more students that they're serving.
Well, I'm impressed. Because that put it on the ballot, local school boards, it kind of fizzled out. And, you got a lot of guts because you just don't put your finger up and say, gee, which way's the wind blowing? So you have convictions, Representative, and it's good to hear that. No, seriously, it's a fresh approach to have a legislator like you that doesn't take something of popularity or a knee-jerk reaction and then leave it by the wayside. You talk about Karen's Law, I'm coming back, you say. We're going to talk about we have to deal better with education, you're coming back. So you're not leaving these things in a closet somewhere.
It's going to be a tough conversation at the Capitol, I'll tell you that. But I think we need to start these discussions, and I think some great things will come out of it.
Let's talk about the Capitol then.
Okay.
When the gavel hits, is it January 21st? 21st. Your new position, I believe it was unanimous of your colleagues in the minority party, in the minority caucus. What's your new position?
Well, I'll be the new minority floor leader.
Oh, wow, that's great.
And so I'm very excited. I think that will bring a lot more attention to Ewa Beach.
We've never had that in Ewa Beach, whether it's a Democrat, whether it's even been a Democrat representative. We haven't had leadership since statehood, I believe, since 1959. Excited. Now we got you, and you're on a leadership position. I'm serious. My eyes are watering up because for those people that just don't pay attention to what's going on in the big square building, that is so important to have someone with your caliber in that role. And I'm sorry to see Rep. Meyer leave because she was just outstanding. But for a replacement, you couldn't ask for somebody better than yourself. That's great for us in Ewa Beach. Statewide, good. But for us, I'm going to be selfish. Congratulations.
Thank you. Well, I want to invite everyone out there to come January 21st. We will be having a bus at Sing Park that leaves.
Sing Park is corner of Renton and Fort Weaver?
Yes, yes. So if anyone wants transportation to the Capitol on the 21st, we will be having free lunch and poo-poos and drinks from noon to 2 o'clock. And so I hope people can join us. They can call us at 586-9730 if they'd like a ride.
Well, that's an open door policy on opening day, but people, I think, should know, the viewers, that you have an open door policy every day.
Yes, every day.
Every day. But you're not serving food every day. This is the one time where people can come and interact, and it's a wonderful thing, opening day. And so by having that service of providing transportation, there's just no parking downtown on that day. So I want to thank you for offering that to your constituency as well. Well, you're really on top of it.